Welcome back. 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 Welcome back.
I know it's been a while. Not really. It's been like 4 days, but I feel like it's been ages because I haven't done anything since Monday, which I came in here, banged something out. I haven't even started editing yet. Shit. I don't think. Damn it, I didn't edit the screen. Watch me not be able to now. Nope, there we go. This is why I'm here, which you can't see because my head's too big. Check that out. We're moving up in the world, dude. We are now the population of a small town, small city, whatever you want to call it. 500 subscribers on YouTube is a big deal because we've been kind of tiptoeing on that line for a while now, and finally broke. I don't know how long it's gonna last for. Maybe after this video is done, it could drop back down again. But I figured it's a big deal, so you know, why not just cut a short thing and talk about it, because I was in here getting some clips ready for Monday because there's a podcast coming up which I have a guest on, which you will hear all about that, or have heard all about that already if you tune into the podcast, which I should have led with that. Fuck. Whatever. It's the Laughing at Birds podcast, as you can see right there on the screen. Every Saturday. Social medias at Laughing Birds on Twitter, at Laughing Birds Pod on Instagram. There's a Facebook page, Laughing at Birds Podcast, which seems to be pretty much useless the way that Facebook has everything set up. So I might just scrap that because I'm not giving up my location for them to be able to fucking push my page out to people, because they don't seem to understand that what I'm doing isn't necessarily dependent on only the people in my area getting to it. Actually, majority of the people that make up my audience don't even live in the same country, never mind the same state. But we are pulling stronger numbers in Jersey, so that's what's up. But if you have not checked out the podcast yet, whatever it is that brought you to this channel, know it's available on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, or the 10 other platforms. Wherever you get podcasts, more than likely that's where it is. You should definitely check it out. There's the year one is out right now. This is the first year that the podcast has officially been a thing. I started in December doing live streams when I originally started making content on this channel. And then I switched over to reactions for a little while. But that was to discover new shit and to build an audience, dude. That's why people do it. Because for whatever reason it brings people in. But that shit got boring, and it's annoying to have your phone blowing up at 3 o'clock in the morning with people telling you to go fuck yourself because you don't think the same thing that they think is cool is cool. That's just dull and boring. And besides, I don't like to be confined in small spaces. You know, I like to do all kinds of different shit. Talk about whatever. You can't do that in a small area where you're only confined to talking about a song and God forbid you don't like it. You'll ruin somebody's whole life by having a different opinion as them, because apparently in 2019, and yes, I'm talking about the past, going into 2020, hopefully it will not continue to be the same, but it seems like a lot of people enjoyed living in an echo chamber in 2019, where they only want their own opinion reflected back to them through other people. They don't want to be challenged on anything. They don't want to explore why somebody might feel a different way other than they do. And look, everybody is guilty of it at some point. I've been guilty of it myself, but I try to be open minded. Even if I don't agree with you, regardless of whatever it is, it doesn't mean I'm gonna shut you out completely. I actually would rather find out why it is that you think the way that you do. But that's not the point. The point is that the podcast is officially a year old. So that podcast right there is going to be going over a small amount of episodes that were done throughout the year, because there's been a lot of changes that have been made to the podcast from where it was in the beginning, when it started out with live streams with just a fucking pair of headphones with a microphone connected to it, to having a Yeti and a laptop here. It's not a very sophisticated system. Okay, it's in a bedroom in the place where I live. It's not a studio. It's not glamorous, but it's a mom and pop organization. Okay, it's from the ground up. It is what America should be built on, which is just going for some shit. And it doesn't even have to just be America. It could be anywhere that you live. To have the ability to want to see some shit that you want to do and go after it. Oh, cool. You need, 8 years of radio experience before you can get a job in radio. I got you. Don't even worry about it. I'll make my own deal, which is essentially what I have done. So there's over 800 videos on this YouTube channel. But more importantly, I would ask you that if you've enjoyed anything on this YouTube channel, go over to the Anchor, the iTunes, the Spotify, Castbox, wherever, rate the podcast, follow it, subscribe to it, whatever, if you're interested in that. If you're not interested in podcasts and it's not your deal, I would still urge you to maybe give it a shot. Maybe give it a shot. Maybe you might like it. Maybe you might not like it. If you don't like mine, there are a bunch of other ones that are really good. I think a lot of people sleep on podcasts. I don't just mean Joe Rogan. He's obviously the biggest name that there is. Joe Rogan, Adam Carolla are the two biggest dudes in podcasting. But there's other ones that are huge that a lot of people don't seem to really talk about. Honeydew Podcast with Ryan Sickler is a big one. The Crab Feast, which him and Jay Larson did, is a huge deal, even though that show doesn't exist anymore. It's the Honeydew now, where Sickler's on his own. The Bonfire on Sirius XM, Channel 95, from 6 to 8 p.m. is technically not a podcast. It's a radio show, but it's fucking awesome. Crackle, crackle. Dude, there's so much shit, man. Shout out to Your Mom's House, even though they got a little too much for me. I had to tap out. Tom is into some really nasty shit. I still love him. I love his stand-up. I love Christina's fucking stand-up. They're great comedians. I support what they do. I can't do it. They've gone too far in a like I can't handle it. It's too gross for me. Burtcast is huge. Bill Burr's podcast is huge. The fuck else? Donnell Rawlings, Ashley Larry has a podcast now. Come on, dude. You should check that out for real. If you have not listened to it yet, I think it's called Too Soon. I don't even know. It might be called Too Soon, or is Donnell Rawlings podcast or show. Something like that. If you look it up, you will find it. It's definitely worth checking out. Him and Kate Quigley do the show together. If you know the church, what's happening now, Joey Diaz. If you don't, you should get to know it. I don't know what you're doing. But she's been on there a bunch with Church of What's Happening Now is also a great fucking podcast. Dude, there's so many, man, that are great that you should check out. So, I mean, I know I mentioned mine in the beginning and then went on to mention people who are way bigger than me that don't need my help. But still, you know, even if you want to take it back down to the ground level, you know, I'm going to be having on Felix Levine from the Where's This Going podcast. He's going to be coming on next week, not this Saturday, next Saturday, the 18th. So check out his podcast. He's had on a bunch of big names, including, you know, Zuby, Christina Hutchinson, Mark Norman, which reminds me, Tuesdays with Stories. Can't believe I almost forgot that. It's a great fucking podcast. Also, what is this? What is happening? What do you want from my life? Facebook. Let's see what they want. Probably nothing. Oh shit. Mark Norman tweeted cats always land on their feet except for at the box office. That is pretty funny. Minimum wage doesn't cover anywhere rent in the US. Yeah, no shit. That's different. It's not connected to. Is that fucking Lou? No way. Alright, I'm not getting. See what Facebook does, dude? Which, if you're not. You know, let me just stop. Because I'm not getting anywhere. This is no good. This is no good at all. I plugged a bunch of podcasts. I'm sure there's more that I could kick myself in the ass for later, thinking about it. That like, fuck, I should have mentioned them. You know, but there's so many, dude. You should definitely check it out. Start with mine though. That's what you should do. Start with mine. And I'm not opposed to the plugging other people's shit. I'm not, you know, this is not comedy in the 90s where you gotta be like, oh, well, if, you know, I can't try to help somebody else because it has taken the would-be or possible shine away from myself, I can't have that. Fuck that, dude. If it's gonna go, it's gonna go. Okay, but look, it took damn near a year to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube, which subscribers don't mean shit, by the way. I know a lot of people get all fucking emotional about it, that like, oh man, you know, I wish I had more. It doesn't matter. Sadly, everybody judges you on your subscriber count, but if you look at the videos, let's take a look at the videos. Okay, look at this. 500 subscribers, 38 hits on the last podcast that I did. You know what I mean? Like, dude, again, 38. 12. There's also a video, which I should have probably mentioned. 34. 34 is like the average. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Like that. that don't count. But, you know what I mean? I don't know where these 500 people are. Most of them don't. I guess they just subscribe to some shit and then they don't watch it. I don't know. I don't know where they go, what they do, how does it happen. You know, maybe they're not interested in podcasts, whatever it is. Maybe it was just for reactions. I'm not sure. Honestly, I would like to try to get a better understanding of why it is that most of you have subscribed to the podcast and or the YouTube channel. But I know most people are not going to, you know, bring this up. They're not going to answer why that is. Like I was trying to figure out yesterday, there were other shows that were underneath mine. Let me go hit my Instagram real quick because I'll pull up the post. Traveling Cannabis. Those are my fucking people, bro. Love those guys. Oh, podcast _ highlights is a great follow as well. Traveling Cannabis, those guys. Look, check this out. The Minimalist Podcast, Hardwell On Air Official Podcast, Global News Podcast, My Favorite Murder with Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark. I don't know what any of those things have to do with my podcast at all. But for whatever reason, they come up that people that listen to my show on Castbox also listen to those shows. Not sure why, where the crossover is, how does it happen, I have no idea. But look, as you can see, clips, artwork as well, if I can get to some. Because I think it's been a while since I posted up anything that she's done. But it's here. You know, there's all kinds of shit, dude. You should definitely check it out. But most importantly, dude, like I said, check out the podcast. And if you're already listening to this, you're like, dude, I listen every week. Leave me alone. Well, I appreciate it. And I'm not talking to you then. I mean the other people who are just stopping by for the first time maybe. That are unaware of what all goes on here. Which I'm going to upload this on the podcast platform as well. Just because I wanted to put out something as a mini podcast. Just to put something out to let you guys know I'm okay. I'm doing alright. Which, by the way, a shout out to BCHQ. He reached out to me and asked me how I was feeling. You know, I'm friends that didn't even do that. So, you know, appreciate him. He's a good dude. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, you should. Reaction videos, motivational videos. He's a good follow. I think it's BC Artist on Instagram as well. You should definitely check him out. But the original thing, before I got sidetracked here with branding and everything else, if you could call it that, was I've had something happen to me over the last few days, which is, you know, when I'm outside and I'm walking the dog, I have other people who are walking their dogs, and they'll stop, and the dogs will be smelling each other, and the people will attempt to make small talk, which is the fucking worst. It's the worst, because you don't look, I don't want to talk to you. You don't want to talk to me. We're only here. We're like parents of kids who hang out that don't really like each other, but they gotta, you know, hang out while their kids fuck around in the sandbox while they pop Adderalls and drink wine or whatever it is that soccer moms do, and or dads, whatever. I'm not discriminatory here. You know, this dude, his dog is smelling her, and he looks up at me, and I'm watching her because I'm not an idiot. I'm looking out for the signs and making sure that everybody's gonna be cool, because if we hit the move quick, you know, then I know I can move her. I just want to make sure that I'm prepared. I don't want to let my guard down and then have them start getting to a fight and it turns into a whole fucking thing. But, you know, he's like, so it's crazy how cold it is, huh? No, it's not crazy. We're in New Jersey on the fucking East Coast in January. It's not crazy. If it was 100 degrees out in January in New Jersey, that would be fucking crazy. But I understand guys just trying to make conversation. And I was just like, yeah, I guess you're right. And then I was about to be like, you know, it's supposed to hit 66 tomorrow, which is really out of the ordinary. But I was like, you know what? Don't do that. Because he doesn't care. He doesn't really care. He's just talking to you to fill the time while the dogs do what they had to do, which I get. So instead, I just sat there and I didn't say anything. And I guess he decided to be like, alright, well, since we're still here, you know, what breed is she? So I start going down the list of shit that she's mixed with, and he's like, oh yeah, my dog is this and that and the other fucking thing. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, alright, man, you ready to wrap this up or what? And I'm looking at the dog like, sorry, dude, it's not personal, bro. I don't want to be in this uncomfortable moment with you anymore. Like, if we could have an actual conversation, that would be different. But I don't know you, right? If we see each other outside of this venue, you're not going to say shit to me. So let's just let them fucking snip each other's assholes, so let's move on with our fucking day, right? And had something happen similar the other day. This dude, I feel bad because I called his dog girl and it was a boy. I didn't know. It was dark. He has a fucking beautiful pit bull. He's a monster fucking dog, dude. And it's all like dark gray and silver. It looks fucking sick. Beautiful fucking dog. And you know, if you've seen Sahura, she's a fucking tiny little thing, dude. Compared to this fucking guy, it's like a mouse and an elephant. You know, these two dogs compared together. This motherfucker comes walking over, and he's like, the guy is like, oh, you want to come and say hi? And I know that's the part where you're supposed to go, my dog is not friendly, or, you know, it's cool, whatever. So they come walking over, and his dog leans in and starts sniffing her, and Sora just fucking sat right down and did one of these moves where she just kind of put her head back and just like, okay, you are really fucking large. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Because normally she barks. Like, she doesn't usually have an issue with other dogs. She's normally cool, but it depends on the energy that they come at her with. You know, if they're a little too rowdy, if they're coming at her and they're trying to play. She is old. She hurts. She's not young no more. She's not looking to really fuck around. So when some of the neighbors that used to live here, they've moved since. They had puppies that would try to play with her. She would mess around with them a little bit, and then she would be like, "All right, that's it, bitch. We're done now. Don't fuck around, cause I'll gum you up." But this dog is sniffing her, and she's kind of hanging out. There's nothing really going on, and I was actually surprised at how, like, she just sat there, didn't really do anything, and she eventually loosened up a little bit. She's sniffing him around, and you know, the guy is talking to us, and I'm looking at him like, dude, your fucking dog is beautiful. Like, how old is she? Assuming that it was a girl because I didn't see balls. Forgetting, right? But he's like, oh, it's a boy. It's like 3 or whatever, however old. I was like, oh man, sorry, called it a girl. I didn't know. He was like, oh, sorry. I mean, technically, he doesn't have his balls anymore. So I mean, he was he took it in good humor, which is cool. And I see the guy walking around the neighborhood all the time, and I always wanted to go over and be like, dude, let me pet your dog. Like, I know I come off like a creep, but I love dogs, dude. I really enjoy pit bulls a lot. I know they can be scary, but most of the time you have nothing to worry about. It's the assholes that raise them to be asshole dogs. That's all it is. It's not all entirely the dog's fault, even though they are, I think at one point they were bred to fight. That's not what they're like any other dog. They're just lovable animals. But they will fucking kill you if you fuck around. You know, it's like walking, it's like hanging out with a fucking Marine, you know? Like, they're cool, they're not looking to actively hurt you, but if you fuck around, you're gonna get killed, dude. It's simple. It's that simple, bro. They don't fuck around. But, I wanted to bring that up. This small talk nonsense has to go. Like, every time somebody does that, I almost want to bring up like something ridiculously heavy just to shut down the conversation. Like, so they'll go, it's crazy how cold it is outside right now, right? And I could just look at them and go, crazy. I went to the AIDS clinic and, I just got the results back and it's fucking crazy. I'm not positive. Do some shit like that. Really make them go, what? But then, that's also rude, so you can't do that. But at the same time, I'm about to just be like, look, dude, we don't have to pretend to be friends for 5 minutes. They can snip each other, and then I can keep walking. You can go where you're going, and then we could just end it. That could be it. We don't have to do this pretending nonsense. If I'm gonna see you every day and we're slowly gonna work towards, a meaningful conversation, that's one thing, dude. But, I mean, come on. Who we bullshitting here? We're not gonna be best friends. We're not exchanging phone numbers or none of that. I don't need all the uncomfort and worrying about saying the wrong thing. Because that's all it is. That's all it is. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're about, what you're into, what you're not into. And 90% of the time, they all look at me like I'm everything that they fucking hate. So, maybe it's the baggy jeans. Maybe it's the hoodies. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to figure out how old I am. I have no idea. But it's rough, dude. Small talk. This is one thing. Like, I was talking to Devos about this earlier, dude. Like, if you have a dog though, and do you make small talk, or do you just fucking just be like, hi, alright, bye? Like, what is the protocol? How do normal people interact with one another? Because I am not normal in any sense of the word. like it took me a few months to even get comfortable with the idea of saying anything to the people that live in my building. And I don't mean breaking out in full conversation, just saying hi to them. There was people that were walking around here like, dude, I thought you were a racist, I thought you hated me, just because I never said anything to anybody. I mind my business, I keep my mouth shut, I don't say shit, and I keep rolling, dude. That's how I do it. Because then I can't get wrapped up in nobody else's shit. I can't get in trouble, and it's beautiful. It works out great. But I mean, I know mostly everybody, and it's alright. You know, nothing wrong with it. Had some great stories come out of it so far, but still, you know, I just not. Sometimes I would like to be more social. Other times, most of the time, I just don't want to be bothered. You know, but I think that's most people, dude. Because I'm always in my own head. I'm thinking about some shit. But what are you gonna do? Either way, look, there's not gonna be any drops in this. I'm literally going to hit the hotkey to end this. I'll upload it onto YouTube. I'll put it in an MP3 format. Put it on podcast platform. Appreciate all the new subscribers, everybody that's been here since I had 4 fucking subscribers in the beginning of this shit. 4 motherfuckers. So going from 4 to 500 is a big deal, and I'm grateful for everybody that enjoys the content. But at the same time, I'm not going to allow the numbers to dictate, because if I allowed the numbers to dictate what I should and what I shouldn't do, then I should come up on here and only fake reactions to make videos that I don't even want to make and forget the podcast because 90% of people aren't interested in it. Fuck all that, dude. I don't mind doing a fucking video once in a while. I know there was a couple that were thrown in my direction people want me to check out. I don't mind doing that once in a while. I just don't want to do it all the time. I mean, there was a point where I was doing 4 a day, which is insane. I don't even know why I would even do. I like to do everything 100%, dude. I don't fuck around, so that's why. But you know, you get burned out, and there's like 50 episodes, 52 episodes, whatever it is, of the podcast. You can catch up on 800 videos on the YouTube channel, plus there's more content here than you could even know what to do with. So enjoy all of it. Follow me on the social medias. There's clips that go out on the Twitter and the Instagram. If there's enough time in between podcasts for me to make them, that's usually how I decide if I'm going to do it. And I only can have a certain amount of clips every month, so there's that also. But Monday, the clips will come out. This Saturday's podcast is going to be a little bit heavy, and that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to bum myself out even worse and start getting into that fucking deal. But you know, it's always there. When you hear it, you'll know. Hopefully you won't be able to relate too much to any of it, but let me shut up. Appreciate everybody that subscribed to the YouTube, who has listened on the podcast platforms. Just do me this solid and rate it, bro. That makes it more visible for other people to see it. It's the only reason why I'm asking you to do that, is so that in the future, if we want to get guests on, dude, that's the only way to do it. Because nobody is going to be like, oh, you just want to have me on because you were interested in talking to me? Fuck you. Where's my bump? I want to see a Joe Rogan bump from you having me on your fucking show. Like what I'm asking of them. But it's a whole separate conversation. Felix is a cool guy. Check out his podcast. Check out BCHQ, any of the other podcasts that I mentioned. And that's it, man. Hopefully, the next time that you hear from me, I will be 100% better. Working towards that. I feel a lot better than I did before. So, we'll see where that goes. But this Saturday, episode's out. Coming out. Whatever, you know what I mean. Yearly recap is in. Check that out if you've never heard the podcast before. And I don't know. I'm not sure when the next time I'm going to be doing this live and in person, which I should have mentioned. I do live streams sometimes as well, but I haven't done any because I haven't felt well, so I'm not going to plug that right now. Ugh, whatever. Let me just end it. I'll catch you sooner or later. Just know that you're covered until February 15th, regardless. I got content scheduled and ready to go. That's it. Appreciate all you savages.